All right, welcome everybody. Let's get started. You might remember last time, and if you don't, it's up on YouTube. In general, the night's rest went smoothly. The shouting voices of the um, missing town and the drow were eventually quieted, and no one discovered your hiding place, and a long rest was achieved. Upon waking, you moved cautiously towards the large archway you'd passed the previous evening. Same pale gray organic material you'd seen in other parts of the Underdark could be seen creeping out along the edges of this massive archway. You decided it was unsafe to touch this and came up with a complex plan to float and fly inwards. And this did help you bypass one chasm guarded by some of Dyrnn's minions. But the tunnel narrowed a bit too much upon your final entry, and you went tumbling and falling, at least part of you, into the space, this massive chamber covered in organic material, feeling like the inside of a large beast's stomach or something else disgusting in some way, to be confronted by a floating alien Dyrrn the Corruptor, who was already apparently aware of your coming and initiated battle. Battle proceeded, as it often does with you, in a chaotic fashion. Many things happened in various turns, but things to understand. First, Akko tried to use her wand. First came Pontifarlin, who was with you, was again feeble-minded by Dyrnn's magic and reduced to a sort of mindless intelligence of one. Akko cast her wand and again shrunk herself to half her own size, and Moish was corrupted by one of Dyrnn's legendary actions and now has misshapen features and two mouths on his head. Towards the end of the session last time, Sindrine cast, rescuing Merlina, cast Banishment, and you all fell to the ground and are now, she says, you have 1 minute to go until he breaks free again. So, we pick up in initiative order again, but if you want to sort of do one thing each round, that is probably okay, just so we stay in order. So, after Sindrine was Philofus.
I would suggest for everyone to drink their potions if they have any, especially those that give
Moist drinks a potion of greater healing.
Yeah. You need it already?
Yeah, I have 19 health left after a mouth opened up on the side.
Oh, right. Should we do we try to prepare some sort of trap for him? Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Should I cast Greater Restoration on?
Okay, how much HP does?
Yes, you should. That's for sure. That's
4d4 plus 4.
Hello.
Yes. Cast it straight away.
There, I remembered we were up to something. That's what we were gonna do. We're gonna cast.
Okay, I restore 14 health. I have 33 now.
I cast Greater Restoration on Pontifarlin.
Okay, so one of these turns you come over, you use an action to cast this on him. He's now restored. That gives basically another 9 remaining. During that first round, or maybe the second round as well, Falchion comes over and says, "Look, I don't know if you all noticed or not, but he was regenerating. How are we going to keep him from doing that continually?"
Moish lifts the sapling from the Gulthias tree.
Yes.
Triumphantly in the air. The moment has come.
Yes, I'm all for that. I mean, we either die or he dies. There's no in between.
Or it could make him immortal.
We could. It's a coin toss.
Viladrin says, that sounds like a terrible idea. a vampiric tree on an already regenerative being.
Yes, Moish, you idiot, says the second mouth.
You should keep it. We don't cleanse it. Just okay. So you guys think it's he's able to heal indefinitely, or is there like a cap, or I don't know.
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I don't think so. I think there's a number of slots that he can use and then he runs out, but it might be a lot.
Doesn't Moish like get it taken away every turn?
What thing away?
I don't know.
His corruption? Let me just double check.
Look,
So-
guys, if One
Yeah.
Punch Man taught me anything, it's that if you're
Exactly.
fighting a regenerating enemy, if you destroy them enough times, they're just going to be destroyed.
Yep.
You just have to keep
Or-
trying.
Or we can try to one-shot him.
Yes, that too.
Um,
We'll one-shot him as many times as it takes.
A billion? I bet.
I mean, if Ponty Farland could wake up and kind of burn him, that could help.
I mean, Coco just woke him up, right?
Did she?
As she did.
Yeah.
So, Moish, by the way, you essentially can't recover from the corruption effect because your constitution is so low,
Uh-huh.
but it only lasts a minute.
Okay.
When he comes back, it'll be gone.
Yeah, it'll be sort of running out in that turn by the
I
time.
forgot, does it give me disadvantage, or what's the complete effect?
Yeah. It gives you disadvantage on attack rolls. Your speed is reduced by half, and if you cast a spell, you need to make an intelligence check.
Mm-hmm.
Does it use the same voice chords as you, or does it grow its own? Asking from my.
It speaks in a raspy chain smoker's voice.
Imagine that's such a potential on a scene.
Okay. Yeah. Pontifarlin, sort of with Akko's touch, sort of comes to and puts his hand up to his head and says, "What? He won't be able to do that to me again, at least. This is not what I expected coming in. Where is he?"
We banished him for a few more seconds.
How are you going to make sure he can't do it again?
Dyrn is a very evil creature and has powers beyond potentially what we are capable of, even as a group. Do any of you have the favor of a god or goddess that can allow you to imbue your attacks with their divine power?
You mean like him down to the...
No, he means radiant damage.
I don't get it.
There are different types of damage you can do. For example, bludgeoning or force damage, fire damage, ice, or cold damage. All of these types that can be done. One of those is radiant, and it is generally when the source of the power comes from the divine. He looks around to all of you, and most of them are just like, sorry.
Moish, you have a special relationship with Bogdamar.
Every attack that I make carries the will of Bogdamar, but I do not think that is what Pontifarlin means. I think he rather means that potentially, having an avatar of a goddess of the forest on her team.
Look at your damage. So scroll down to the spells that have actual dice rolls in the little box you can click on in D&D Beyond. You'll see lightning bolt on your spells list. You'll see if you scroll down to your 3rd level spells. Lightning bolt, for example, has the little lightning thing, and if you hover over it, it says lightning. Look for one that has, or something that has radiant. Pontifarland says, if none of you have a spell of that sort, then we will not be able to fully defeat him.
I have Spirit Guardian.
I don't know what that is.
It's a spell with radiance.
It is, but it's a strange way to phrase it. In any case, Sindrian is starting to falter. Time has started to pass. These conversations have taken a little longer. She calls out, now would be a good time to get into place to hit. I can let it go a bit early, and he'll pop back into place when we're ready, and we can strike it once.
Yeah.
You're casting Spirit Guardians where? I mean, you can choose, you call forth them. They flit around you at a distance of 15 feet. So you're going to go and get up into that space that you're in? So do you cast that spell? Okay, so as Akko sort of places her staff down in front of her, this swirl begins sort of along the bottom, and this glowing green light begins to shoot up and forward and then split apart into almost a cloud of butterflies. But then they all solidify, and you get to choose what they look like.
Ooh, okay. Every single one of them can be different.
Sort of.
How many are there?
I mean, there's hundreds. The last time you cast the spell, they all appeared as little moishes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there can be grumpy Akkos.
Gronkos. All right, so as these little globules of light solidify in space, still moving in a not quite fast yet fashion around Akko, they solidify into versions of Akko. Some have different hairstyles coming off of them. Some have different robes. Some are in the old robes that you first met her in. Some are a little bit on the more childish side. Some are more elegant and wearing her current archer outfits. But they're all various monochromatic green versions of Akko floating around her space. Okay, what's everyone else doing in advance?
Well, Moish is preparing to cast Ray of Enfeeblement, as his second mouth is attempting to bite his ear off.
Right, can we prepare to cast something, and then we have like
Yeah, so in that last round before she releases it, you can hold an action, essentially, and wait for that.
Okay.
Okay, so the Warflayers also begin to rise up and encircle the spot that Sindrian has marked as where he was when he was banished. So you've got the 5 of them are all directly around that space, ready to strike as best they can. The Border Patrol, they've sort of, Corporal Carrero is readying her sling again. Higgs has a rather large crossbow that he's pointing at the space. Veladrin and Condorasta both have their arrows knocked and ready to head towards the space. And yeah.
My spiritual weapon still up?
Your spiritual weapon?
Mm-hmm.
It should be. How long does it last?
1 minute. So
No, so again.
Okay, so no, I can't do the concentration.
Spiritual weapon's not concentration. The other one is concentration.
So if I cast it, I then drop the other one?
I don't remember how that works. So I would say that no, you can't keep the concentration and cast another spell.
I bet Moish can, though.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Actions, bonus actions is what I need to see. Yeah, okay. You can bring it up anyway. It won't get an attack until it's your round, but you can bring it up.
Actually, I wonder, can I dual cast now? Like one mouth chants one spell, the other mouth chants a different spell.
No, the magic is based off of intent as well as like your own natural ability to channel it. So you've only got one amount of force to do so with. Okay, so what?
My spiritual weapon looks like a beautiful marionette.
A dancing Merlina, a spectral form of her, appears in the air as well in that space.
Leading the horde of Cocos to battle.
Merlina, what are you doing in advance? What are you holding an action?
No, I'm doing absolutely nothing in advance except admiring myself dancing.
Okay. And Philofis? What do you?
I wanted holding an action to cast a spell.
Well, which spell?
That will be Fireball, level 4th.
Okay. Just so you're aware, you would know that the radius on that, if it hits him, will also hit basically like everyone else. The space is pretty small.
Okay,
that's Moish, because Moish is the furthest one back.
Yeah,
correct. Moish, like out of the distance. So is Merlina. I mean, Beladrin and Condorasta are out a bit. Akko is not. Akko had to get close enough to be there. All of the wharf flares are floating in the air where they would get hit as well. Sindrine is down there too. So, yeah, you would know. You can still do it. Don't let me stop you. But just that's going to happen.
Okay, in that case, no. I will just close the gap between me and the place that he will potentially appear, and I will just stab him with a sword.
Okay.
Since I can't cast anything else because of the concentration spell, what was it called? Intellect Fortress. It's still up, right? Right.
No, actually, how long does it last?
Up to 1 hour.
Okay, yeah, then it's still up. Okay, so I'm crazy. The moment occurs, Sindrine looks around to make sure everyone is ready, and she drops her spell. So Dyrn pops back into the space around, looking more angry than you've noticed his expressions are capable of showing so far. It looks like he has, over the centuries that he's been here, at least picked up some of what human emotions might be like, and he is furious right now. He begins to shout, and before he can get anything out, you're all being aware he can come. There's a free round of actions. So, Philofis, you're first.
Stabbing him with longsword and dagger.
Okay, roll your attack.
Yeah, sure. 1 second. For the longsword, it's 16 plus 4, so it's 20.
20 does not hit.
Ooh. Okay. Dagger. Now I will click with the. Wait, that's even worse. 15. Both misses.
Yeah. As he's sort of there and sort of shaking with this internal rage, you swing your sword at him, and he just kind of casually like flicks the tip of it to the side, so it swings past him. There's that force that's in his movement there. The dagger you as well try to hit, but it just kind of goes through his robes a bit and does not connect. That was your action, your bonus action, or no, that was your attack.
Yeah.
So, next in the order to get in a strike would be the border patrol. So they all get 19. And okay, so let's see. 9 points of damage. So Carrillo's sling goes wide. Higgs's crossbow also does not manage to hit. Falchion, however, runs forward and sort of swings with his sword a bit, and makes a connect and does 13 points of damage, managing to slice across one of Dyrnn's legs. Caitlin runs up and makes an attempt as well to strike at Dyrn with his own cool blade things, which I don't have written down ever.
Aren't they like the broken wings or something that he needs strength to use, and he's the only one that had it?
Exactly, but I don't have them in D&D Beyond, so I always have to go look up what they are. But they hit quite well, and he gets the 2 of those. Those both hit, so that's 9 and 19 points of damage as Kaelin's wings, as he sort of does this spinning attack, they also slice into Dyrnn's sort of stomach area, who cries out at that stage. This all happens within like moments, like Falchion's there, Kaelin's there. The Warflayers all make attempts. I need to check who has their Mind Blast still available. Yeah, they do this thing. That's a no. 1, 2, 3. Okay, only one of them actually connects in any meaningful way, despite them all being there. They're trying to not hit each other with this, and yeah, that's okay. But that one...
I was trying to not hit anyone at all.
I mean, sure. They feel... The only one that actually manages to connect is Miss Fidget, who puts herself a little closer than you would expect in order to get some of the attack in. Sort of floats a bit closer, but is at the end able to actually make a connection. That is what the actual spell she uses. Mind Blast. Okay. Yeah, so that's 22 points as this force of energy comes out from each of them. Most of them sort of, it goes wide. They don't follow through with the attack. She does, and in return ends up hitting Lord Mender across the way from her as well, who immediately crumples and falls to the ground, sort of burnt out, unconscious.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, he's now unconscious on the ground. Not dead, but unconscious. Dyrn takes 22 points. Okay, that finishes their go. Akko, your spiritual weapon would be swinging towards the space. So roll an attack with your spiritual weapon.
By the way, the damage, did you already take it?
I haven't done that yet. No, that'll come right now, basically. It's a lot of dice. So, D20 plus 9 for your spiritual weapon. Natural 20.
Yay!
All right. 1d8 plus 2. So roll a d8. What's that?
Wait, let me see.
5, so 12 total, because you double the dice. Okay, so 12 points as, in addition to all these other things happening, the dancing Merlina glowing spectral figure also smashes into Dyrn from the side.
Oops, I did it again.
Oh, copyright. Okay, spiritual guardian? Wait, spirit guardians, right? What level did you cast it at? 3rd level. Perfect. Spirit guardians. Okay. How for spirits protect you? Wisdom saving throw. Okay.
So do it every turn or only once?
When a creature enters the area or starts its turn there, it needs to make a saving throw.
So only once.
Basically, it'll take damage either way, but it's basically half damage whether it does or not. So that's a 3, but it's magic. So that's a 2. Does not make the wisdom saving throw, so it takes full damage, 3d8 radiant damage. What's that? Okay, 19 points of damage towards Dyrn as these furious, like all of the little Akkos that are spinning in the air around Akko really just get angry. So again, little young Akko, grown-up Akko, archer Akko.
What about Granny Akko?
Did they see a Granny Akko?
Yeah.
There's a Granny Akko as well, hobbling with her staff. She lifts up her staff as well in rage, and they sort of, as a cloud, smack into Dyrn. And where you see them hitting him, these little bursts of this green light sort of puff off of him, and he lets out a shout of horror as he sees little flakes of his skin just start to glow green, like when paper burns a little bit, and not fully recover. Merlina, you had no action held, so you have to skip this bit, this round. That's okay. Condorasta will fire her arrow that she had held. That's a natural 20. So that's 32 to hit. Definitely hits. That's 1d8 plus 4.
I don't know. It's 36 to hit.
That's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are arrows, but that's 9. But then she had a spell up last time, which was the flame arrows. And so that was at a high level as well. 9. Nope, not that one. Flame arrows.
I believe I can fly.
9.
I believe you should surely try.
Okay, so the first arrow aims for basically one of those spots on Dyrn that is starting to go and does 15 points of damage. Then Valadrin also gets a go with his longbow, because that's what he said he was going to do. That is 17. That misses. Sorry, Valadrin. That's how that goes.
You were supposed to say, "Oh, Valadrin."
Oh, Valadrin. Moish, you had your thing held?
Yeah, Raven Feeblement.
Okay. But Raven Feeblement is strength-based or something like that, right?
They need to make a saving throw. The saving throw is Constitution 18.
Okay.
Wait, did he save against the previous one? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I cast, and because I have disadvantage on all attacks, right? Does that include spells?
It does, yes.
Alright, in that case I use a gold coin to negate that.
Okay.
As in give myself advantage and it's negated. As soon as the second mouth starts like shouting and screeching, I shove a gold coin inside it.
Okay, that's perfect. So yeah, I guess you roll to attack.
Yeah.
When
D20
I was
plus
young,
10.
all of our grandmas had gold teeth somewhere, and I was like, I can't wait until I get to have some.
Alright, 9 plus 10, 19.
19. That misses. So you aim the spell at him, but there's too much thrashing going on as he's being hit from all these different sides.
Alright.
That then finishes his turn, and Sindrine has had one final attack held, waiting for him, which is one of her Eldritch Blasts. That's going to be a 23, which hits, so she gets a d10 for damage. So It's not very much, but 5 points of damage. Not nothing. And that finishes the sort of surprise round. Okay. At this stage, we pick back up in the order, but Dyrrn is going to use one of his legendary actions. Sorry? He's going to use it on... Oh, Pontifilan. Yeah, you're right. That's true. Yeah, he has... During the setup to this, he plumped back into his dragon form. The room is a little bit crowded, but he's still managed to keep that at the edge of the room. He's going to also use his breath weapon, which he can barely really use because everyone's in the area. But with the... yeah, I don't think he cares much. He's still just going to do it. Yeah, I mean, he's able to angle his cone so that he's only going to hit the war flares because they're also up in the air with Dyrrn, but he doesn't care. He's going to do that anyway. So the dragon reaches back and let this ton of fire just comes burning out from his throat. Everyone in that area needs to make a dex saving throw.
I was hesitating with a fireball.
Yeah, you were, but you want
yeah.
Yeah, so he does this. You are on the ground though, so he's able to angle it up so that it doesn't hit you. Correct. The only ones that are sort of in that sort of cone area are Dyrrn and Lady Tinker and Madam Fiddle, Miss Fidget, the weird one. They all will get hit by this as the fire is just spreading out and trying to fry Dyrrn. Dyrrn uses his last legendary, what's it called again?
Reaction.
No, it's called something else. Resistance. His last legendary resistance to make the dodge somehow. He probably just turns his cloak in that mid moment, and it takes most of the burn off the fire. But he only takes half damage off of it. Still, that is... where's the dragon gone? Dragon's fire is 71. Actually, you know what? I'm going to roll this. 13d10. Because it's a dragon. 13d10. Okay. Alright, about the same. 74. So
74.
Yeah. 74 points of damage. Dyrrn is looking really rough as he takes half of that. No, because he makes his save, but that was his last legendary resistance.
Apparently, Pontifilan and I deal the same kind of damage.
7. That was a bad roll, essentially. Okay, so, but Lady Tinker does not make her save. Madam Fiddle does not make the save. Does not make the save. The weird does make the save.
Save from damage. They're all gonna take damage. And pretty much we lost all of them, so that Pontifilan can deal like 36 points of damage.
Yeah. All of them sort of are hit by this flame, and only the weird one who was on the other side, the one that was just kind of like, oh great.
Sindri?
No, lower timber than Sindrine. All of the warflayers like burn and scream and drop to the ground, also unconscious and on fire. Yeah, but Dyrrn has also caught fire as a result of this. And yeah, that's Pontifilan's go. So getting back into it, Dyrrn is going to use his legendary action in this space. He's going to
He's going to self-destruct.
No, well, he's going to do the only thing he can with a legendary action to do the best that he. What can he even do?
Yes, we have destroyed. He can't do anything else.
Okay, so he's going to make an attack against you, Akko.
No, our healer?
This is a tentacle. Where's the tentacle up there? 29 to hit. So you take 24 points of slashing damage. Yeah. The tentacle wraps around you like it did Merlina and pulls you over within 5 feet of him, and you're now grappled there. Make an intelligence saving throw.
20. No, not the 20.
Just 20 total? Now you are stunned. So make a constitution saving throw as well. Yeah. That. On the top ones.
Okay.
Come on, Akko. 19. Okay, you're fine. So even though you're stunned, it's not intelligence so much as it is your connection to your goddess that allows you to maintain concentration on the spell. So even though you've taken damage and even though you are incapacitated, you do manage to keep up your spirit guardians. But you are now grappled and done. That's his legendary action done. Next up in the initiative order then is Philopus. Is your question?
Okay, I'll again try my blade dancing skills.
Okay, yeah, roll to it.
Okay, longsword is 20, which misses.
20 misses.
And the dagger 12.
Oh, also misses. In a similar fashion, and now it's made more difficult because Akko is there. You try to attack, but aren't able to get in a hit.
I just forgot how to do it. I'm out of shape.
Sure. Okay. The border patrol. Carrillo manages to knock into him. That is for 6 points. Oh no, it's doubled. So 12 points of damage with their sling. Just swings right into his eye, and he goes wah! But he's still clinging on to Akko there. Falchion again reaches up with his sword. He's still holding Akko, but doesn't manage to hit. Sergeant Higgs with the crossbow misses again as well. That brings us to Kalen. Kalen is going to make his 2 attacks, but both miss. He can't manage to not hit Akko. Dyrrn is clinging onto her with one of his tentacles that come out from his sort of chest and the robes. The Warflayers need to start making death saving throws. That's a failure for Lady Tinker. That's a failure for Lord Mender. That's a success for Madam Fiddle. That is a success for Miss Fidget. And that brings us to the weird one.
Sir something.
Who's up? Yeah, the weird one is going to try and make an attack on Dyrn. But nope, doesn't manage to actually get through. He doesn't have the recharged of the force attack, and with yeah, that's all it can do. Okay. I don't know how to actually mark these down. Basically, they all failed except for one of them. So, next up in the initiative is Akko. Akko, you are incapacitated, but let me read what this says. The grapple ends. Nope, you're done. You can't actually do anything on your turn. No, because you're stunned until the grapple ends, and because you're stunned, you can't try and break free. So you're stunned because the tentacle has injected a little bit of a thing into you, which essentially drains your intelligence slightly, and that has.
It makes these noises when you're trying to drink through a straw, but the cup is empty.
Yes, that was. Anyway, that's Akko's turn finished. That brings us to the top of the initiative order. Merlina.
So if I reduce Akko in size, will she fall out of his
She's already reduced in size. She can't be reduced a second time. We forgot about that. Tiny Akko surrounded by tiny Akkos.
Who's around me then?
Condorasta, Valadrin, you're sort of on the outskirts of this whole affair. The gold dragon is looming over nearby as well.
Well, I don't want to use lightning bolt because then I'll get Akko too. So, how many feet away from me is Dyrn?
I'd say that he is, well, you choose. You could have positioned yourself.
Well, I'm a little bit closer.
Less than 60.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and do frostbite. Because then I can aim and I can try to make sure that I only get Dyrn.
Okay, that's fair. So D20. No, wait. He just has to do
Con 16.
Con 16. Okay. So Dyrn makes Constitution 9. 15? No, he doesn't save.
Wait,
So how many
3d6? 3, yeah.
Did you cast it at a higher level?
It's a cantrip.
Oh, it's because because you're a higher level. Okay, got it. So 3d6, yeah.
5, 4, 6. Haha!
Pretty good. 15 points of damage. So Merlina reaches forward and this coating of frost begins to crawl up along Dyrn. He again tries to shake it off, but you see like those holes that Akko had made, and one of his feet actually just like snaps off. He's starting to look really ragged and like filled with holes. That finishes that turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Condorasta goes up next. She's going to just check if she has anything else she can do to be helpful. Yeah, no, that's not going to help. So, yeah, she's just going to use another one of her flame arrows, because why not? That's another natural 20. Man, she is sighting those and hitting them. So 1d8 plus 4, and then plus the 9. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and fire arrows. 14. Okay, that's 20 points of damage. So as Condorasta sights this, and Akko, you're sort of frozen, and your eyes are sort of glazing over as it gets to him. This arrow just pierces through right into his teeth and breaks through the teeth into the back of the throat.
Huh.
That same time as the light is sort of leaving his eyes and he's starting to bleed out, the other Akkos that are swirling around all sort of converge and smash into him and break through in one, and the body just kind of like bursts apart from within with this greenish light and dissolves. Not completely, but enough that the tentacle that you have is severed, and the body now drifts down to the ground, destroyed and dead.
Thank you.
Yay.
I did. You're welcome.
So with that, yeah, what are you guys doing?
We did it.
We loot.
Pontyfarlin.
Oh, who's dead?
Yeah, no one's dead yet, but they're gonna have to start. I mean,
Moisha's choking on the gold coin that he shoved in his other mouth.
Now we like don't have time.
well, they'll need to continue making
Yeah.
death saving throws.
Where are they?
So they're just right on the ground where you land as well. Lady Tinker is there. Lord Mender, Madam Fiddle, Miss Fidget.
Okay, I do Lord Commander.
Okay. So while you're doing that, Lady Tinker has to fails a second death saving throw. Madam Fiddle makes a second, and Miss Fidget fails a second. So you bring Lord Mender back up, yeah?
Wait.
She shot him down.
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm doing Lady. Who was there?
Lady Tinker, Madam Fiddle, Miss Fidget.
And the rest of us is just like, damn, that's harsh.
Who were you?
Yeah.
Who are you leaving to maybe die?
You don't know. No one's around you, and you've only got a moment to decide.
This moment show more
The most helpful D&D master.
Hurry up. You have the most affection for Lady Tinker because she was first.
Okay, Lady Tinker.
Okay.
Mm. 14.
Okay, Lady Tinker comes back. Madam Fiddle makes her third and stabilizes with 1 hit point.
I cast Cure Wounds on the last one.
You don't get to do that before it makes its death saving throw.
He's dead.
No, it made it. So Miss Fidget made her saving throw. So, well, she's not back up and stable, but she has 2 deaths and 2 failures and 1 success.
Okay, so she's the only one left?
Yes.
I guess Cure Wounds on her.
Okay. For how many points?
9.
9 points. Okay. So with all the war flayers now restored, the dragon Pontyfarlin has come back to his human form as well, and sort of shouts walks over to the corpse of Dyrrn and sort of kicks it a few times and says, "A great victory has been achieved."
Huzzah!
Did it.
Spit on him.
An excellent sentiment.
I spit on him with both mouths, in fact.
Yeah.
I check his pockets.
Now we're talking, Falafus.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Basically destroyed.
What?
Does he have pockets anymore?
Oh, yeah. I mean, make an investigation check.
To see if we can find them.
See if we can find what happened to his pockets. I rolled an 11 plus 6, 17.
17.
Oh, by the way, when I was hitting with that Ray of Enfeeblement, I was supposed to get a +1 because I have some sort of magical stone now, so I would have rolled a 20.
Sure. Even if it had succeeded, it didn't really do anything because he doesn't have strength-based attacks.
Fair.
14.
Can't find his pockets.
Yeah, can I find his pockets?
I mean, you don't have to just look for his pocket. So
Yeah, I don't find
Moish goes directly for like the pocket areas and quickly establishes that Dyrn doesn't seem to have anything in particular on his person.
I deny Moish. I keep looking.
Where's the gold? Where's the gold?
Yeah, so the rest of you that want to look through the rest of the room, yeah, feel free.
I feel like we should visit his body. This way we can use the bring him back to life spell at some point later and question him about what he was up to and who was working with.
Put him into my bag again. I need another one.
Yeah, we can harvest him for organs and use him.
Yeah,
like,
for organs, yes.
Yeah, if you want to do that, you know that the bag does not necessarily preserve anything. So if you're gonna do any harvesting, you need to do that now.
Right, Moish does that now. He wants like the heart, the brain, the lungs,
All
the
right, well,
kidneys.
I'll tell you what's available, and you'll need to make your rolls for it. But
What we maniacs are.
What's my benefit?
this one.
I don't get anything anymore, do I?
Okay.
Excellent companionship.
Okay, so it will take you about an hour of concentration there, Moish, to do this. So you won't be able to focus on any of the rest of the looting and things like that, yeah?
I mean, no, in that case. I want to look for other things.
Okay.
So,
So
look, this guy was clearly a drinker, and he's been alive for how long? His kidney is worthless.
And he has no eye. At least one was
Liver.
destroyed. Right?
sure,
yeah,
but
exactly.
you do. Well, okay. It's up to you.
All right, I'll focus on that. I'll pass the loot and I'll just try to get his, I don't know, liver or something, kidney stones.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I hand Falafus my most trusty knife and say, go for it. And
I
the
mean-
second mouth says, don't
Of
mess
course,
up.
Of course, I lick it before the operation. You know.
I want to find my other guide here because I like its rules better for these kind of things, but it's been since the old computer. Need to find the new one. This one, the creature loot. There we go. Okay, so the challenge rating was super high, and this is a humanoid. He's kind of an aberration. Okay, so it's an Arcana check.
Arcana, right? Good, perfect. Okay, I roll. I re-roll. I use my luck point. Wait, one? What the hell? Wait. Luck points marked. Okay, once again, Arcana. Okay, 24.
24. Okay, nearly there, but since he's such a high challenge rating, you don't get the full loot. Pretty easy to do is grab his remaining eye. That will give you, well, you're not sure what it'll give you, but you get the idea that there is some sort of magical benefit off of that.
Speaking of, we have eyes that allow us to cast Blink.
Correct.
Just remembered.
Yeah. I'm going to make a targeted effort to go through and at least put everything into your general inventory tab. I've been delaying because I wanted it to actually be in the equipment, but it's better just to get it into your character sheets.
So wait, just to be sure, what did I get? Something that's magical, and it used to be part of him. That's what I get.
One of his eyes.
One of his
that.
eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
You do Gekko Sharingan.
You do have the idea that maybe even do something with his mind or his brain like you have with the mind flayers before.
Yeah.
But it's a little too humanoid and disgusting. Your gag impulse kicks in a few too many times and it just gets ruined. You're not able to extract it in such a way that it seems useful. But you are able to get one of the tentacles out of his sort of chest area, which that looks like it can be used as a whip, and you can see that the kind of grappling mechanisms that it would do are still functional. They're muscle based. So like you spread it out and you kind of squeeze it, and it sort of recoils in on itself a bit.
I already see it, like giant scorpion and a whip. That's how I'll look soon.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, good. That's it. Then Who's searching the rest of the place?
Me.
All right, but you rolled low for your investigation, didn't you?
That was
Can Moish then? Because Moish wasn't the one.
Sure.
why so
Do I
tiny?
roll again?
Tiny. How long does your spell last? Look at your wand. Yeah, roll again, investigation check.
Also, when does the whole polymorph thing curse on me last?
You're not sure, but it's still on you for now.
Okay.
Moish is hobbling around the room at half speed.
Yeah, 4.
4. Yeah, you're kind of trying to get there, but the dragon occasionally like walks across and like blocks your path, and Pontifarlin is acting strange as well. Like he keeps going back into his dragon form and like trumpeting this cry out and like scraping the walls a bit and then shrinking back to human.
My second mouth imitates him.
Yeah.
So it's 100 each?
It's investigation.
No, my spell.
Oh, sure.
Without concentration after 1 minute.
Up to 1 minute. Okay, so that drops. So you're back to normal size. Merlina, do you want to make an investigation? Are you looking?
It's 18 is what I rolled.
18. Okay. And Beladrin does not. Sandrine does not. Yeah. Not much higher. Okay, so Merlina, what you find over sort of, so the chamber is mostly circular and there doesn't appear to be any other exit than the one you came in through. In the middle-ish, towards the left side of the chamber, there's a kind of staircase dais. Again, it's this fleshy protrusions that come up to support it, but the stairs are actual metal wrought stairs that go up into where Dyrn was sitting in a sort of throne-like structure. The dais is maybe the first place you look, and there you find let me make sure I'm not going to misjudge the size of this thing. Where's my stuff? I want to do this. Okay. That one. This one. Okay, so you find a regular, like a small-sized chest that is just on the floor, not particularly hidden, next to the throne, if you will.
Can I open it, or am I going to be in need of Moish's skills?
It's up to you what you want to do with it.
Okay, give it a try. I want to try and open it and see what's inside.
Okay. Make an intelligence check.
Oh boy. 4 plus my intelligence, I think plus 1 or plus 2.
It's +1 now because the modifier is still on. 5? Yeah.
Okay.
You're looking at the chest and you're trying to press various sides and there's no place for a key and you're like literally not sure how to open this box. It's kind of, you feel foggy as well, and all of you except for Moish feel this general fogginess towards you're trying to concentrate on matters at hand, but you're not quite there. Midway through this all, and you take some time to struggle through that as well. You don't just immediately try and give up, but it's just not, you're not cracking it. The walls, the flesh that's on the walls start to just kind of drip and condensation runs down a little bit, and some of the stuff like come loose, peel away, revealing this behind it.
I couldn't hear what you were saying very well, but I understood that the walls are starting to melt into puddles of flesh.
Yeah. Yes, they're not. It's not swift necessarily, but it curls. It's not happening swiftly, but over this course of this hour, while Philopsis is working through the body and extracting.
By the way, anyone knows how to transplant an eye?
I do, says Moish. He actually doesn't.
Great. We will try later on.
Okay, so Akko, what did you roll for your investigation?
2.
2.
Yeah, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Akko's like, seen it all, nothing here.
Okay. Yeah, Kalen gets a chance to try as well, I guess. Let's see. Where's his investigation? 11. Nope. And does anyone have advantage on skill checks? I think the way this is turning out, you guys are just exhausted already from this, and you're not going to find anything. Okay. Yeah. Sindrine is kind of looking around sort of the back of the chamber. And Pontifarlin at some stage when he slips, like is in this dragon form again, his tail brushes off and a whole like sheet of the flesh kind of like drops away and almost hits Sindrine, who jumps out of the way. But behind that there is just a small series of cubbies that's kind of in the wall. And she reaches into one and pulls out this sword that kind of glows with this orangish light. She holds it up and it, where'd it go? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Oh, I can't find it. Did I minimize it? Where did it go? Oh, I know what happened. It opened it. These other tabs. Too many windows open. Where it was just here. Okay, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. There it is. Okay, cool. Yes. Yeah, it's glowing with this gentle orange stripe along the center of the blade, and it has these kind of almost pincers that come out as part of the hilt itself, and a single, not human looking, but an eyeball of some sort that is also embedded in the handle of it too. As she pulls it over and holds it up, it kind of, she swings it and it kind of arcs a little bit, like the blade shouldn't bend, but it appears to bend as she's waving in the air. She says, I found a sword. If anyone's interested, we can check it out later.
What's it made of? Can you tell?
If you want, I can identify it.
She taps it and it sort of rings out. She says, seems like steel.
Well, steel doesn't bend that way.
She says, I'm interested. Let me see if I have any dragon shard dust.
What's the original piece you need for casting that spell?
What do you mean? Oh, like
I only need 100.
No, but if you didn't have dragon shard dust,
yeah. What's the original?
What do you mean?
That you need some sort of material to cast it, and dragon shard replaces it.
A pearl worth at least 100 gold points and an owl feather.
Aha! Well, a feather is not a problem.
Sindrine pulls out one of her pouches of the dragon shard dust and gives it to you, Moish, and then she holds the sword out sort of in front of her.
Right. I cast it.
Okay. And the other mouth goes, It's still there. He's still corrupted.
Yeah.
Corruption lasts longer than that. Yeah. The corruption lasts until, until a certain point. He needs to save from it, but he doesn't have a high enough constitution to save from it. So, this is known as the Sword of the Golden Scorpion. It does require attunement, but one, it has +1 attack damage rolls. It has a flexible blade that when it's in the swinging sort of comes loose and whips a little bit along with each strike. You can use an action to cause a thick green poison to coat the blade, which will last for a minute, or until an attack is used. using it. So
Does it cause extra damage if you do?
yeah, if it hits a creature, then they need to make a Constitution saving throw or take an extra 2d10 poison damage and become poisoned for a minute, and it can't be used that way until the next dawn. So basically, one shoot of poison per day. As an action, using the sword, you may take the shape of a scorpion or giant scorpion with a brown and golden coloring, as if you had cast polymorph spell, except that you retain your own intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores.
Nice.
The saving throws, if these are better than the forms taken, so you get the benefit of that in general. And you can also use this once per day.
Cool.
All right, I relay all of this.
That's brilliant.
That's a cool sword. Sindrine says, I'm not sure if I should be the one to keep this or not.
Of course.
You saved me. I think you should keep it.
But you know, I mean, his Philophus might be more keen to use this, given that it would allow him to more freely communicate with Mr. Jefferson, too.
Are you implying that I have issues with communicating with him?
Yes, I could have been more straightforward with it if you wished. You need better. We need him on our side. In this case, you could have. Technically, I could polymorph, and we'd have 3 scorpions that can go and do interesting things each time.
An army of scorpions.
Oh, a mother, a father, and a child scorpion.
Yeah.
You can go that far, Moish. Okay, so there's that. Yeah. Then.
I mean, if no one is more willing to take it, it's always nice to have another magical item. So, yeah.
Okay.
Hey Moish, do you think you could try opening this chest I found? I mean, if it's loot inside, we can divide it.
All right, sure. I'll give it a go.
Okay.
Where is it? Moish asks as he's sitting on it.
As I hold
Yeah, eventually she calls your attention to it and hands you the chest. For you, it feels more like, this size.
A suitcase.
Yeah, it's more like a suitcase. It's carved and it looks like it should be easy enough to open, but you don't see a keyhole anywhere. Make an investigation check. Or sorry, intelligence. This would just be an intelligence check.
All right. 18 plus 5, 23.
23. Okay. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's a bit of a trick box. You end up finding one of the sides that's loose, and you're able to slide down like the corner piece, and that in turn unlocks another piece, and it takes you a few minutes. Again, Philophus is sort of finishing up what he's doing while this is happening, but you're able to get the trick of it, and the box top pops open.
Yeah, we hear you.
what is inside.
Oh, hello, guys. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost all contacts after Evan said corner piece.
Moish, the game master steps in. What's inside the box?
Right, so
What's in the box?
Nothing! You're so stupid! Sorry, an old movie. What you see inside the box is, when I find it... Okay, there is a kind of a... It looks like a simple red stone. It has this red and white... No, it's not a gemstone. It's just a stone. It's oblong, which is to say it's not like perfectly shaped or anything like that. It has some striations upon it, this sort of white that make up part of the red. It looks maybe like it was marble that was like sort of polished down to this size. You're not sure. But there are flecks of black in there as well. There's 3 colors to it.
Well, certainly he didn't put it in a chest that's hard to unlock just because it's a pretty stone.
no, wait, falling asleep. What is it? It's a gem or like
No,
precious stone?
It's like a small river stone, right? It's smooth, it's polished. It kind of looks like a kidney shape, as in it's not perfectly smooth. It's just kind of like lumpy. It doesn't look.
I sense a kinship with the stone.
Yeah.
So, does Moish have enough dragon shard dust left? That's the question, because
I think I still have if you need it.
Waste dragon shard dust. I can try detect magic first, okay?
Oh, sure, go for it.
Yeah. So.
Now, Merlina, you take a moment to sort of attune and you cast Detect Magic. You also can, in the whole area within your radius, you can start to see magical things that come off.
I should have started with this in hindsight.
Yeah, that's usually a good thing to do when you're looking for pinging stuff off. First, the stone. So let me see. I mean, this is an amalgam of magical forces that are in the stone. Usually, when you see a device or something like that, there are many. There's usually like one source of magic. In this particular case, it's a lot. Let me bring up the actual list I have usually open. Yeah. This one has a little bit of abjuration or sort of protection magic that is blended in with transmutation, which is to say a sort of a physical change in properties.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to cast Identify in this anyway. It's way too confusing other ways to understand. I have just enough worth of dragon shard dust for it.
Before he does, are there any other magical objects I sense in the room?
Are you actively looking for them?
I am.
Okay, make an investigation.
Nope.
What'd you roll?
5.
5.
Plus my investigation is 6, 11.
11. Again, with that fuzziness in your brain, you do look around for other magic sources, but not immediately seeing. You don't really think to go and like look behind things or anywhere else, so nothing really stands out to you.
I'm gonna get distracted by Akko. I'm still so impressed with her loneliness.
Okay, so getting back to then Mush, Eladrin says, I think I have some dragon shard dust. If
I'd be happy if you could lend it to me.
Sure, I don't know what other purpose I would have for it, so yeah, they'll strike.
Alright, so
Sorry.
cast Identify.
Okay.
So,
yes, again, sort of almost over top of it. This is known as a stone of power. This one in particular is a stone of protection. And while you are attuned to this, it'll sort of float around your head and it'll give you a much higher armor class. At the start of each of your turns, you'll regain 10 hit points as long as you still have 1 hit point remaining. So it's not regenerative, but it is bolstering. And you have resistance to all damage and you have advantage on all saving throws. The caveat is that you need to be pretty powerful in order to touch it, because it will violently eject creatures that are not powerful enough to do so.
By powerful, you mean?
Powerful enough in what sense?
Exactly.
So the definition in the book, which I'm not sure how to actually translate into like role-playing terms, is that you need to have at least 15 hit dice. So, for example, Merlina, you as a sorcerer at your current level have 14 hit dice available to help you recover in short rests.
Everyone checks their how many.
Yeah, everyone checks. I think at this level 14, you have 14.
Because I have 10 and 4. Like 10 for Rogue, 4 for Wizard, okay. Well, I mean, whenever Coco is powerful enough to wield the stone, we might as well give it to her, since it's very important to keep her alive for the sake of our party.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm surprised that this wasn't used by Dyrn. It makes me think that something is fishy here.
Oh man.
What if that wasn't Dyrn?
Do you think...
At first I thought this might be like a Horcrux sort of thing, but if it isn't, then you have to wonder why he wasn't using it.
Maybe he just put it down and didn't think he'll need it. Do you really think we should read into it?
I'd rather err on the side of caution. Let's assume for now that Dyrn is not completely defeated. And I say this loudly enough so that Pontifarlin can hear.
Pontifarlin whirls at that and says, "What do you mean? Why do you think such a thing?"
For the simple reason that he was not using all the instruments at his disposal to battle against us, and that it felt challenging, but also once we found his weakness at the same time a little too easy. We might as well be prepared for him having slipped away, perhaps.
He waves his hands up towards the walls, which are now like the flesh hasn't evaporated, right? It is just kind of lost its suction and is now like clumping off and breaking apart a little bit, but mostly just coming down in piles onto the ground in these little gooey piles. He gestures to that and says, the effects that he has perpetrated are beginning to evaporate. He points at you, Moish, and even as he's been sort of talking at you, that mouth has started to sort of re-knit itself and close up into like your cheek again.
I say, no, don't go, and it says back, you idiot, I'm literally you.
But yeah, over the next sort of 15 minutes or so, Moish, you recover from the corruption as well. But Pontifarlin he's unwilling to admit that Dyrn might still be alive and out there.
And I empathize with that, but also I show to Pontifarlin the ring that I have, and I explain to him that this is a ring which others may exist like this, but for instance, if I were to die while this ring is on my person, then my soul would go inside of this ring, and in a matter of speaking, I would still be alive, if you know what I'm saying. There is a chance that while Dyrn is defeated, he's not completely gone.
How many of us in this room have the favor of the divine? How many of us in this kingdom, in this land, can be said to have the favor of the divine? Gods and goddesses have not come to this realm for a long time. Part of the properties of the erection of the barrier is specifically to keep out and he tries to continue speaking but is actually unable to, and he shakes his head and wanders off again.
Why did he start speaking about the divine?
Because that has something to do with the barrier.
Sindrine says, well, I mean, the only way that we kept Dyrn down was by Pontifarlin's suggestion to use divine magic.
Oh, well, that is true. And Coco is like the healer in this whole world.
But if this guy has an escape route and is faking his death, why did he leave this artifact for us to find? I mean, we could clearly use it to strengthen ourselves. Did he just not think it through?
I do not know. It's just, I'm not saying he did escape or that he is alive. I'm just saying that it's very suspicious that he was not using this while fighting against us.
Okay, and clearly there's something to do. My goodness, I'm now starting to think we got involved in some war of the gods.
I mean, you're only figuring this out now?
Yeah.
Well, better late than never. I mean, it's clear with all the, infernal realms and the underdark that this is I didn't even know what it compares to. It's like we're getting involved in the preparations for Ragnarok or something, or the end days.
So it's like Earth, Purgatory, Heaven, and...
All the various realms clashing.
Yeah.
I mean, you would know the vague sense of things, right? There is the material plane, which has Shadow of Light and Shadow of Darkness. It has the Feywild and the Shadowfell. Then there are other realms surrounding that are the elemental planes: earth, fire, water, air. Yeah. And then beyond that, there is a sort of the alignment planes, if you will. There's the nine hells and the abyss. But then there's also the heavenly versions of that, the good versions of
No, I understand that the realms are fighting. I just didn't think it was... I thought it was just like devils being naughty. I didn't know the gods.
I mean, yeah, that's... Sindrine comments on this as well and says, I mean, it's not like we've had much direct exposure to them. I mean, yes, there are priests, yes, there are those that worship the gods, but... And, you know, in our realm at least, there are paladins and there are those that gain some power through the gods, but Pontifalen's right, there have been none that we've encountered in this realm.
Interesting.
Well, I can't remember exactly how the saying goes because I'm exhausted, but let's hope for the best but prepare for the worst.
So what is the worst case scenario here?
The Dyrrn is alive and he just played us all like a fiddle.
Yep.
Falchion comes up and says...
But again, let me make this clear. This is like the worst case scenario theory because I'm just being paranoid. There is a good chance that Coco just defeated him.
What if he was not the guy who was pulling the strings? He was one of the instruments for someone even greater.
I think he might occupy the same level of like.
Okay.
As the because I can't remember. Oh my god, what's the devil guy's name?
Oh right.
Evan, please remind me. Titivulus. Like, right? I think they might occupy the same sort of like station within this whole conspiracy that spans the barrier.
He seems even more powerful than Titivulus, but sure.
I mean, but look, Titivulus was controlling your father, a dragon. Dyrrn was controlling Pontifarlin, a dragon. It seems like their roles are rather similar, doesn't it? I'm not saying they're exactly as powerful as each other. No, you're right, Dyrrn was more powerful, clearly. But you see what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah. Pontifarlin?
Yes.
Could you tell me who it is exactly that the dragons work with?
Well, I mean, the dragons worship Bahamut. Bahamut.
Please tell me about our god.
Bahamut is the platinum dragon. She is... I mean, she lives in... I forget the names of the planes, I didn't look this up, but she upholds what is good. She is a source of true honor and strength to all of dragonkind.
And what's the opposite of her? Every single religion has like a good and bad.
Tiamat is the evil version. She resides in the Nine Hells, has most of one of the levels to herself, as I'm told.
There is a dragon in the Nine Hells.
More than a dragon. The queen of all that is evil amongst dragons, chromatic.
Oh man.
It's like, remember that evil lying dragon that we fought in the other realm?
The green one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
An offspring.
one of those that would lean towards Tiamat more. didn't know how to phrase it properly.
No, I get you.
It is absolutely that. The chromatic dragons, red, black, blue, they are spawn and, yes, children, grandchildren, progeny of Tiamat.
Huh.
The metallic dragons, bronze, brass, copper, silver, and so on. We are children and descendants of the platinum dragon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that we are at war, but we uphold good, they uphold evil. Clashes do happen. Mostly dragons keep to themselves, maintain their layers, do not interact with each other, if can be avoided. And I can see now my own mistakes in doing so with your father and the others.
You think it was a mistake for you to ride the barrier together?
We had no choice, but would that I had never met them and been so foolish and young as to, and again, tries to get more out but is not able to.
My father isn't that foolish, though. If he did this, I think you guys had a very good reason to act.
Of course we did. But, well,
There was too high of a price, huh?
where is Viral anyway?
Oh jeez, I don't know. We should get out of here, guys, or shall we?
Should we should definitely inform Varel of what happened here as soon as we can. He's probably in Cobalt Gates right now, actually, isn't he?
Do not say this in front of Ponty Farland.
Both Akko and did. So, Ponty Farland again. He turns into his dragon form, and you see the smoke coming from his nostrils a bit, and he says, "Viral is where?"
April Fools, April Fools.
He said he would not abandon me. He said he would be here. And he's already fled back across the barrier to his own realm.
Moish, I leave it to you to fix this.
All right, I'll fix this. I say he did not flee. He can communicate through Merlina with you at any moment. If you wish, she can do it right now.
No, not.
Under the bus. Ponty Farland again is not sort of backing down. He gets his whole giant dragon head gets down up to you, Moish, and says, "How is this accomplished, and where?" He was here just yesterday. Would he really have fled back to his own land?
No, he didn't. And he needs to reconquer his kingdom because it's attacked just as yours was. He isn't fleeing, he is attacking. As opposed to cowering away.
Make a persuasion check.
The story ends.
Natural 20.
Okay. Ooh. He shakes his head and snorts and morphs back into the old man form again. And he says, "Yes, I can see that is important. I must secure my own realm. We must leave here. We must check on Dyrrn and see how it fares."
Let us go. I follow you.
Very well. And he begins to stride out the tunnel. Falchion comes up and says, "This is all fantastic, really. This is wonderful. Good job, everyone. But can I just ask, how are we really, we're going to get out of here? Like, so many things to take care of along the way, and Dyrrn is quite a way."
By the way, do we leave this body behind? Or, I don't know, it's just like, it feels bad to leave it just like that, you know?
Could take his head.
Yeah.
right? He doesn't have eyes left, so he can't really watch us. And
I could make a necklace out of his teeth.
I water the Gulthias tree saplings with his blood for once.
No.
What?
I will
Can someone take that bloody branch from Moish?
It says I have to do it. So far I haven't been mentioning it, but it's been discussed before, and Moish has been watering them with his urine. Because he has to do it with something.
I just pick up Moish. I put him on my armpit. I'm like, come on, Moish. We'll talk about this tomorrow.
This did come up like last year.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, they need to be kept going or they'll wither. So Moish hasn't been letting them wither. No, I'll let you choose, Moish. So technically, there's been time. They only need it, every let's just say 8 days. Any more than that, and they sort of get too desiccated. And you can see them if you check in on them. You've only been traveling total since we started the campaign 40 days, and I think that the Gulthias tree was maybe around day 4 or 5 or something like that. So you can't use urine, it has to be blood. Have you been finding a way to get them blood along all the way?
Now we know where the real Dyrrn went.
Do it.
I mean, if I say no, it'd be a retcon, because way back when I decided that I'd be doing it.
Yeah, so what I mean is you can just have been doing it all this time with the enemies that you find, but when there weren't any enemies, you would have had to use your own once or twice. That's all.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, just keep bearing that in mind. So, do you want to use Dyrn's blood as well now to do that?
Well, I'll do it on one first. See if it turns into a brand new Gulthias tree that attacks and kills everyone.
It's fair.
If it does, there's no other chance,
Yeah.
Roll initiative. No.
Yeah.
No. So, Moish, you go over and sort of dangle the edge of the sapling in the pool of blood.
It slurps it with a straw sound.
Well, it does actually take some in, and it begins to sort of it gets that weird kind of what are those called? Leech. It has that leech thing of it fills just a little bit. It stops looking wooden at that stage. It just looks a little too bloated to do that. But a few seconds go by and nothing else seems to happen.
All right. And then I use Identify on this Gulthias tree branch that I filled with Dyrn's blood, using my own Dragon Shard Dust.
Okay, make sure you mark that off.
Yep.
So, yeah, it still appears to have the same properties that you're familiar with. You have more of a sense of how it actually works now than you ever did before, because you hadn't cast it. It is not yet sentient, but has the potential to become so, as far as awakened trees go. It is a fledgling thing, so it needs to either be planted into the ground, and it's a little fuzzy around the edges because Identify doesn't quite work that way, but there's some sort of ritual that could be done to make sure that it stays and grows. The new blood that's in it doesn't seem to have changed the shape of what its magical properties are. It does have the need to take over a host, which is to say, if you stab this into something, it will attempt to take that over.
Well, I remember that much.
Yeah, that's the extent that Identified tells you what it is and does.
All right.
So,
well, in that case, I just keep the one with Dyrn's blood, because eventually when I want to plant them, I want to see, mark them off. This one has Dyrn's blood, this one has Moish's piss. See which one of them is more powerful.
Okay, that's fair.
You're gonna play one hip hop music to the other one's gonna be heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be walking through that garden.
Oh, the nightmare that Galapagos has every night.
Yeah. I really no.
All right. So, beginning to backtrack out of the cavern, leaving it behind. That gloopy fleshed mass is everywhere now, and the cavern ceilings are clear. The walls are actually clear as well. Even where you step, as you step, it's a little slippery underfoot, so you have to go a little slower than you otherwise would. You come a little bit later up to that first chasm that you'd flown over on your entry, and you see the bodies of a number of, those corrupted creatures that Dyrrn had at least on guard here. They're not dead, but they're just sitting sort of their minds like absent-mindedly. Some of the corruption is gone, and those that were maybe grown or pieced together, those that have like two heads or whatever, are
Siamese twins.
Yeah, like those ones are dead. They've kind of split apart and are now just like two creatures, half creatures, sort of next to each other. The ones that are more sort of hobgoblins or just regular goblins, they're just sort of sitting catatonic. There's that narrow rope bridge that crosses the chasm. That's available here.
I mean, we could use Mind Flare tentacles to telepathically communicate with these minions now and potentially order them about, but I don't see a purpose right now.
I would even try. I mean, I have an eye and a tentacle, right?
Right.
How do you see it, Moish? How do you think it's possible to use the tentacle to... I mean, I can whip them, that's for sure.
Yes, try that.
Yeah, all right. I'll...
And order them to do so.
Yeah. The old-fashioned whoopah.
Okay. Yeah, roll a d20.
Roll for initiative.
Oh no.
An 8. I miss.
You miss on the first strike, yeah. It snaps in front of their face, but nothing, like, there's no reaction from them, actually.
May I try again?
Sure.
That's what living under a narcissist does to you after so many years.
10. I need to get used to it.
You don't know how to use a whip yet.
Yeah.
I need to check. Let me just go add to your inventory whip.
Sindrine, I think you're more you seem to be more accustomed with this sort of weapons. Would you mind to try it?
She almost definitely is too.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's +4, so 14. You on that second strike, you definitely are able to. It wraps around basically the torso of one of these, and then as you squeeze, it sinks its teeth, sort of the teeth that are on the tentacles sink into the creature. That sort of yells out a little bit, and then it retracts directly towards you, and this creature is now like eyes bulging, standing stunned and shaking in front of you. And
I'm as surprised as he is.
And literally, the whip then crushes and sucks a little bit in, and the creature just dies in front of you. The damage is higher than that thing had in it.
Sorry.
At which stage the tentacle sort of relaxes and lets it fall out.
I'm like,
That was awesome. Do it again.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
I don't think he can accept your apology.
Another corpse to Merlina's collection.
How much damage does that do? Like, come on.
By itself, well, yeah, it does enough. Like, it's not a very nice thing.
Oh, I see it. Okay. That's okay. That's just a whip.
That's just a whip because I didn't add another one in.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Dyrnn's tentacle one. It does a fair amount. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Enough. It's this creature that was already kind of stunned by the death.
Yeah,
of
that's true.
That was it for him.
I mean, it didn't.
But in its final moments,
it didn't work.
I mean, like in its final moments, it looked like it might be working. You need to do it several more times just to make sure.
You know what? Sure, why?
But like gently, just like place it.
Wrap the edge in something before you try again.
Yeah, wrap it in a towel.
Or like put a cloak on one of them.
No, you might need physical contact, like to telepathically communicate with them.
That might be right.
Just poke them with it and like tell them to stand on one foot.
Okay, I'll try. I'm rolling for the second one.
Do you need to roll an attack if you're coming up and just poking them with it?
I don't know. It's 19, so I probably hit something.
I mean, what?
Poke the eye out.
Exactly, what are you trying to do?
Just. Not sure, Moish.
Okay, poke them with the tentacle and tell them like to do something simple and see if they respond. Because it's supposed to be able to let you telepathically
while whipping,
communicate
I
with
was
them.
thinking about forcing him to doing the jumping jacks. So
Yeah, you sort of smack him with the edge of the whip. Nothing happens.
okay.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. It didn't work, so shame.
I mean, it says they can cast telepathy twice for an hour, but how? Maybe we need to eat them.
What says that? What are you even looking at?
Mind flare tentacle. I've said this like 10 minutes ago when we started
but
this.
he's using Dyrnn's tentacle.
How you because you didn't say anything? I thought it was the same thing. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
Dyrn
thought
has
so.
mind flare tentacles now.
No, nothing like that. He has his own unique things. Let me look at the properties of the mind flare tentacles again.
Moish, you know what? Maybe after transplanting the eye and awakening Sharingan, I will be able to control them.
Oh, right, maybe. What's your Susanoo going to be?
No idea yet.
It's gonna be a scorpion, isn't it?
Oh, there's no other way.
Okay, there we go.
The true one-tailed
Okay,
beast.
so
Yeah.
the mind flare tentacles, they need to be crafted for them to do anything in particular.
What was the one?
That's what I thought.
So they're the face things, right? So they're only about that long, but as they have dried, they've sort of hardened. So you think you could maybe like carve them into like a dagger or something like that? Yeah. But it'll take some time to do so because the flesh is almost stone-like. Yeah.
Needs to be cooked.
Condorasta steps up and says, look, this is very interesting.
But the city is burning. Actually, no, it probably isn't.
Well,
what if all the...
it probably still is. That doesn't mean that their enemies are still attacking it, but it would be nice for me to get back.
Yeah. Let's go signal the airship to pick us up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a day's journey away, right?
At least, unless there is some other method. She looks around. Does anyone know?
Merlina,
No.
you're the go-to.
No, I don't know another method. I have Dimension Door, but that's 500 feet.
And I already used my...
Again, I still I still can. We can. Okay. How did we traveled here? I was
Polymorphed.
polymorphed. Sindrine was polymorphed.
We're all flying.
We flew.
Yeah. Was that fast?
That was pretty fast.
It was pretty fast. And you know that there is the cavern up ahead, but then you also know that there is that whole village of drow that are probably free of the influence now as well.
Oh yeah, what are we gonna do about those?
What should we do? They should just go home, I suppose.
Plane shift will leave this whole plane of existence to take you to the Feywild or something like that.
Maybe just try not to catch their attention.
I mean, there's 500 people. They already caught their own attention. I suppose they were not knowing each other, so they're all like, "Why are you?"
It's a meetup. We'll go have a cocktail hour.
Yeah, we can just pretend we are one of them. How can they know?
Exactly.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
you might actually fit in as one of the Fae.
yeah,
Yeah.
you did notice that the majority of them were drow. And you remember when you came in, it was from a drow city as well.
We can be invisible though. We can sneak around them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, why would you need to be?
Well, just in case they love Dyrn and they want to avenge their leader or something like that.
Some of them might. I think most of them probably won't.
Yeah.
Syndrome.
Because remember, Dyrn was like a freak. He wasn't completely a drow.
Stockholm syndrome.
It's
But just in case they ask what happened to Dyrn, we tell them he was showing us party tricks and then strangled himself with his own tentacle.
Yeah. Which I accidentally have.
Yeah.
It's a souvenir.
Pontyfarlin says, "This sounds like a waste of time. We should fly if we can."
Yeah, I'm polymorphing myself.
Yeah.
And we have a huge dragon. Who
He
also-
turns into a dragon as well, and says, "I can carry several."
I flap my arms. Do I flap?
Coco wants to ride.
So I think between the dragon and
Sindrine and Philosophy.
two huge eagles.
And
Giant eagles, sorry.
Sindrine still has a spell slot left to cast Polymorph, so... Oh no, she doesn't. She can only do that once per day because it's not from her spells, it's an extra thing she does. So, yeah, she can't help there.
Well, I can fly myself, so I don't need the dragon to carry me.
She
I
can-
can let someone else go.
Yeah, she can cast Fly on someone or herself, for sure. But that's... So the dragon can just fly. Like, there's no time limit on that.
Yeah.
So...
No,
Wait.
look, last time Pontyfarlin wasn't carrying anyone, so this time instead of Sindrine we have Pontyfarlin, and then we just repeat all of the same spells like for fly and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay, let me just do a quick count. So, 1...
By the way, who has the stone now? Coco, right?
No, it's still in the box. Depends who you want to give it to.
Again, I insist that we give it to Coco. When she levels up, she can use it, and she's the most important one of us to keep alive because she can bring everyone else back. Essentially.
Is the box nice?
Not really.
It's like a
shame.
ragged old suitcase.
Shame. I was just looking for a new home for...
Mr. Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to have much air to it.
Uh-huh.
Then you might not you might not be able to breathe in there.
Mm.
Maybe. Okay, so yes, I'd say that at least for the first leg of this, there's enough of you and Polymorph. How long does Polymorph last again?
1 hour. Up to 1 hour.
Yeah. Okay.
What is?
No, I can't remember what they're called. The War Flayers.
Yeah.
The term hasn't stuck yet. But the War Flayers, because they can kind of float and fly and are pretty strong with their bodies, can at least carry those that can't fit there or fly. Fly itself as a spell only lasts 10 minutes, so it's not really a viable option, at least to go for a full hour.
Okay, fair enough. Who's carrying?
I mean, you can get on the dragon if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get on the dragon.
Okay.
Doesn't know that the actual reason I rescued him is so he can be my Uncle Steed.
So eventually you all figure out the flying patterns, and Philofus, you polymorph and are able to carry a couple as well, and that's enough for you to now take off as a group. You don't even bother to cross the bridge first. What?
Hard to find like very few.
Yes.
Why does everybody have to transform?
No, they don't, but he can't fit everyone on his back.
How many are there?
He can carry someone in his mouth.
There are
Not me.
those that can't polymorph and can't be carried by Philofus, let's say. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say that they can be carried by Philofus. 5, 6, 7, 8 total. 8 people that would need to be carried. So Philofus can carry 2. That takes care of 3, but there's 8 people that don't have flight. So regardless, it works that the dragon and Philofus combined can carry enough people to get going, and the others can fly themselves because they have natural.
It just
Honey,
works.
everyone's taken care of. I want to move past this part of the story because it's a bit boring.
It just works.
It just works.
Magic is involved. Yeah.
Yes.
So you take off. It's that one. You take off and go flying across the bridge and up the tunnel again. You come out of the archway and into the massive cavern that is there. You fly over and you see the lights down below of that village. And I mean, make a perception check. Whoever wants to look and see what's going on.
I can't.
No, shouldn't it be an investigation check, though?
Not when you're flying over top. It's just how much you can grab out of the corner of your eye and what you actually perceive in that.
I should be good at that with that
19
form I
plus
have.
2, 21.
21.
Natural 2.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to look at the lost village that you're passing.
Oh.
Okay, so Moish, Akko, you pick up and can relay to the others that the drow and the other handful of people that are down there seem to have at least climbed out of the gully and are milling aimlessly about in that space. They don't look particularly upset, but they're like, some of them are hugging, and like there's groups that have sort of spun off as like little family units and so on. There's a few that are sort of like sitting and wandering loose. Some are trying to get the rest organized and talk them, but it's chaos down there. But that's only a little bit of a moment as you fly overhead, and then you're back into the darkness of the space. You fly again for probably about an hour total, maybe a little bit less, but then you get and finally come against the wall of the cavern, and you are at the other side of that space. At this stage, the dragon comes back down and says, we're back to where I was, but it's another few hours of what I don't know where. I can't lead from here.
It's okay. We remember our way back.
Do we?
Yeah, who's so Condorasta and Veladrin were leading down this initial set. Does anyone else want to step forward? Otherwise, they will then make the roll to see if they can find their way back.
What is the roll?
Well, you don't know, but story-wise, it would be, do they remember the turnings in the kind of
Intelligence.
space?
How dark is it?
Not necessarily intelligence.
In that case, Moish passes. He delegates this duty.
So anyway, Condorasta says, I cannot remember the way. And she rolls natural 20. All right.
Good job.
It is good. She begins to take you back, and it goes faster this time. At one point, she stops you all, and you sort of like lean back, and she says, Akko, can you make us quieter, please? your spell thing with your staff. I guess. Akko does the pass without trace, and just as that sort of greenish black dust settles upon all of you, this slimy thing that's filling the whole tunnel comes like squirting along the wall, the passageway. And Condorasta just sort of like puts her hand up and holds, and as it glorps and smooks by, she then sort of like takes a deep breath and says, "Okay, we're good. I think we go to the left now. Okay, let's go." And she takes you guys on a path away from the gelatinous cube. Eventually, you come back out into the space where you had captured Pontifarlin. You see the chain that is still lying there untouched. You do see a couple of what looked like they're drow elves, but they're missing sort of body parts and have sort of bled out. Whatever it was, they were maybe corrupted creatures that had, been experiments of Dyrrn and had failed in the midst when you destroyed him. But their bodies are just lying there in this chamber at that stage. It's pretty dark. This cavern is actually lit dimly, but most of the space you've been traveling through has been just dark, and
You guys are so lucky to see the dark.
when you're allowed to, you use your light to provide some space, but oftentimes Condorasta or one of the others will tell you to.
Y'all are cats. Meow. Oh
So at this stage then, beginning to move back up, we'll call it a night. You're not quite out of this space yet, but that's a good place to pause for the evening, and we will continue next time.
That tells you we're not safely getting out.
And we'll tell. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for the game.
Thank you all for watching. Y'all are beautiful.
I know I am. Thank you, Coco.